Good afternoon and hello. My name is Renee D. Waring. I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. The title of my presentation today is 9/11 Mental Illness Part 1 R period WARRING. My presentations can be viewed on the following social media sites: on LinkedIn under Renee D. Waring, on Facebook under Waring Communications LLC, on Twitter under @ReneeWaring, and on YouTube under smallcase_WARRING. The events of Tuesday, September the 11th, 2001 exposed hundreds of thousands of people in New York City and beyond to distressing images. Studies conducted after 9/11 suggest that rescue, recovery, and cleanup workers, friends, victims, relatives of victims, and survivors of the World Trade Center attacks, as well as those who witnessed it on television and read newspapers, were at greater risk of developing long-term related psychological problems. People who were exposed to the traumatic events and the aftermath experienced fear, helplessness, and horror. The most common long-term mental health conditions that people experienced were post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, depressions, general anxiety disorder or GAD, and substance abuse disorders. Quote, so in terms of the long-term effects from short-term exposure, we don't know whether or not they will remain for many, many years or eventually go away. We have to monitor it, said Dr. Paul Leoy, PhD of the Environmental and Occupational Health Sciences Institutes. Health officials in New York City recently announced the creation of the World Trade Center Health Registry to track and evaluate the long-term effects of 9/11. The effects of 9/11 are still being felt today by those all New Yorkers and all Americans, says Thomas Frieden, medical doctor, MPH, New York City Health and Mental Hygiene Commissioner. The World Trade Center Worker and Volunteer Medical Screening Program in New York City offers free and confidential medical screening examinations nationwide for those who helped with post 9/11 rescue, recovery, and cleanup efforts. Earlier this year, researchers released preliminary findings based on a sample of 250 of the program's participants. The results show that 52% of the participants reported mental health symptoms that require further medical evaluation, and one in five report symptoms of PTSD. The symptoms are nightmares, ruminations, anxiety, and avoiding reminders of the attacks. Trauma researcher Roxanne Cohen Silver, PhD of the University of California at Irvine, said that in order for a person to be diagnosed with PTSD, they would have to be directly exposed with the traumatic event. Feelings of anxiety and depression aren't necessarily symptoms of psychological disorder. However, when these symptoms start to interfere with a person's daily functions, it is then that the symptoms are classified as psychological disorders. Quote, most individuals who have encountered major traumas indicate that recovery doesn't mean forgetting, but learning to live with consequences of changed circumstances, unquote, says Dr. Silver. Thus ends my presentation for the day. My next video can be viewed on the fourth Thursday or Friday of this month. Please view my videos and ask someone to view them also. My presentations can be viewed on LinkedIn under Renee D. Waring, on Facebook under Waring Communications, LLC, on Twitter under @Renee Waring, and on YouTube under smallcase_Warring. I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. My name is Renee D. Waring, and I am the Warrior Waring.